Screenless. Hello and welcome to another episode of Creative Cuppa, where I have chats with people working in the many creative industries. I'm Gareth Davies, composer for TV and now also a podcaster. I thought after 42 episodes I should probably introduce myself. It's funny actually, it always surprises me, I don't know why, how easy it is to have a conversation with someone anywhere in the world. It's amazing, isn't it? It's so fascinating to me to learn about what my guests do and how they harness creativity in their work, wherever they are. Today's guest is another first. I've not had a chat with an interior designer before, not on the podcast anyway. I'm not sure ever, actually. Naomi is based in New York State and is a leading commercial interior designer specialising in healthcare. So, if you're sitting comfortably and you have your cuppa in hand, let's have a listen. Naomi Mamiye, commercial interior designer. Welcome to Creative Cuppa.
Hello.
Hello. So, Naomi, you've taken the negative things in your life to create something positive. And you've spoken publicly about how you experienced traumatic events when you were young. I'm interested to know how creativity helped you initially at a point when monetizing it wasn't even a thought in your head.
So I was kind of forced in my life situation. I was kind of forced to think of means to support myself. So, you know, I grew up thinking that I'm never going to work a day in my life, and I'm going to have lunch with the ladies every single day and the moms, and I was put into a life situation where I didn't have parents. They died of cancer. Both sets of grandparents died of cancer, and here I found myself divorced. So I kind of I was divorced with 4 little kids, so I had to think of ways to support myself. So my entire life, the way I dress or the way I designed my home, I constantly got comments about my creativity. And over here, I was forced to think of what I could use to monetize and create a business from nothing. So I didn't have anybody to give me that couple of dollars to start a business. So starting a design firm didn't cost me a cent. So, I was thinking what I could possibly do from all my talents. And I actually decided this is the way, and also being your own boss gives you a kind of flexibility where you could still raise kids, you could still have time for the family, you could go to a doctor or a dentist appointment without, cringing and pressure being back at the office. So I liked that freedom that being your own boss gave you. And this way I was still able to raise my kids and still able to support them at the same time. And I found joy in using my creativity, exactly like I said before, creating something from nothing. It's just like, it even like wows me. Like I've actually walked into a job and I didn't expect it to come out that good. I actually took my hand and patted myself on the back. I was like, wow.
So was there a point where you were doing it for yourself, not monetizing, when you realized, wow, I could do this? Was it pointed out to you, or did you realize yourself, or how did that come about?
At the beginning, I was kind of scared stepping into something new, and I did my first couple of jobs for free. And that kind of gave me the opening and the confidence to actually, make this into a business. It was a risk in the beginning to take. And I'm glad I took that risk because now I enjoy what I'm doing. I actually have the freedom. If I see a job is not the right fit for me, I'm actually have the freedom now to say, no, let me give you a number of a friend who's a better fit, So now at this point, I built up a good reputation. I find that when you give 110% to a client, you get those referrals that you need. You get that good reputation. They spread it like word of mouth. I've never advertised. I'm doing this for 15 years. I never once spent money on an ad, and I have constant work. So that's all coming, from word of mouth, from clients being happy. So I think it's very important to go above and beyond for each of them, because it's a ripple effect. You get one after the next, after the next. They're like, hey, use this designer. She just saved me $30,000. She helped me get all the stuff wholesale. I didn't have to go buy all the tiles for my entire building, retail. She helped me out. She went above and beyond to try to get everything, in budget. And she answered calls late at night and early in the morning. That's another thing. Hard work, I think, is very important for success, and many people many younger people fail to realize how much work goes in behind the scenes. They see all these successful people, but they don't realize how much time and effort goes into becoming a success.
It is a hard thing, isn't it? When you make it look effortless, it looks like you're not making an effort, when in fact, there's so much work being done to make it look that effortless.
Right.
Vicious circle.
I used to think like, wow, it looks so glamorous. You get on a flight and you go fly to projects. Oh, this looks like, it's so much fun. For me to be back home, to still see my family, I have to take the first flight out at 6:00 in the morning to go take a look at a project. That means me waking up at 3:00 in the morning to get to the airport for a 6:00 flight. It's not so glamorous as I thought. I am tired. I'm really tired.
Is your cuppa of choice a coffee then?
You know what? I on those flight days, I actually skip my coffees because I want to be able to sleep on the flight. So I actually skip my coffees on those days. So I'm able to fall asleep, and time, passes a little better. I try to recoup some of that lost time and sleep. But it's a lot of hard work behind the scenes. And it's those people that are relentless and don't give up that I think get to that level.
Yeah. And when you take on a new project, what's the starting point? You mentioned you fly out to see these places. Do you actually stand in the physical space and take inspiration from that? The potential, I suppose, of the space? So
because I do healthcare design, a lot of these old buildings that they call me in, they want to redo, they want to rehash, they want to renovate. It's extremely complicated because a lot of these buildings were built in times of asbestos, okay? So it's a lot of creativity involved. I have to put new floors on existing floors. I can't, certain things, walls, I have to put like wallpapers on existing. I can't remove any of the products that are there. I can't disturb is the right word. I can't disturb a lot of these old buildings. But I do stand in the space. I take videos, I take photographs, and then I come home and I think of different ideas. I try to get feedback from the owners, like what kind of vision they want, the budget and what they, have to make their vision come to life. I can't just do what I want. The client has to be happy. So, if he wants something rustic and I think modern, I have to go his direction because it's the client that has to be happy. And I have to make his whatever's in his mind come to life.
And you know what? That's exactly the same as writing music to picture, is that you're telling someone else's story.
Exactly. It's a team effort. You also have to look at the surroundings. It's very important. I can't go over here in the United States. I can't go in the middle of Kansas and create, something like really sharp and modern that I could do in New York City. It has to fit the setting. It has to fit the community.
That's interesting.
Those people are more country. And, I've gotten feedback. People called me in to actually change designs, too cold, too sterile for the community. Yeah. They want more warmth and, more traditional. So you have to figure who's living there, where the hospital or nursing center or rehab center, where is it located, its settings. I can't put my New York mind into Nebraska or Oklahoma over here. It just wouldn't fit.
I saw a photo of yours. There it is. Yes, it's on your website. There was a bakery cafe. Was it in a care home?
Yes, it's in a...
That's such a lovely idea.
Yes. They're stuck in there. You have to understand they're stuck in there for, and they hardly see the outdoors. They're stuck in there for years, And many of them are with Alzheimer's or dementia. They're in locked units. They're not seeing daylight. So that's why my artwork, let's say down the hallways, everybody, like the owners ask, like, why this theme? I try to do like outdoor photography, flowers and trees, and because they don't see this anymore. Yeah. So, and so like they can't go out to that cafe anymore. So I tried to, in this facility, the owner let me, use my creativity and create them a little Starbucks there in their home. So there's like a change of scenery a little bit. Instead of just being sterile hallways and patient rooms, there's like, somewhere cute and different that looks like, they would be, in the outside. They would be in an outdoor cafe.
So, Naomi, you had this previously as a hobby. Now it's a job. Do your hobbies now include other creative things? Or is this all-encompassing?
I have a lot of large-scale projects, and it's just me, okay? So, and people think I have a huge staff behind me. I have nobody behind me. It's just me. Wow. So I kind of don't have time for all this other creativity. But I moved out of Brooklyn, which is the whole world for some reason knows Brooklyn. You mention it anywhere. I moved out of Brooklyn to upstate New York, so it's more country here. So now, actually, on my free time, on the nicer weekends, nice weather, which is not now, I actually tend to my garden outside, which it's also creative. Every little stone I'm busy placing, it gets kicked out of its spot. Every little stone I'm like rearranging, and
that's great.
So actually, that I would think like that's my only pastime. It's actually it's like a second job, upkeeping my backyard. I made it look like a little park. So,
oh, lovely. You just can't stop, can you? Can't stop designing.
No, I cannot.
That's absolutely fabulous. So, Naomi, where can people find you online if they want to come and see some of your amazing interior designs?
Okay, so they could find me on Instagram at Naomi Mamiye Design. My website, Naomi Mamiye Design, LinkedIn, Naomi Mamiye Design, and it's spelled NaomiMamiye. Design. Yeah, it's a little tricky there, the pronunciations.
I shall put all those links in the show notes as well so people can find it very easily. But for now, Naomi Mamiye, thank you for joining me for a cuppa.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Thanks again to Naomi for joining me. I found it really interesting how her creativity was born out of necessity and how her resilience has helped her become the designer she is today. And in 15 years, she hasn't once advertised. That says a lot, doesn't it? Thanks to you also for listening. I hope you enjoy these chats as much as I do. I'd love to know what you think, and if you know someone who would fit as a guest, you can nominate that person at creativecuppa.uk. And if you enjoyed this episode, please spread the word by writing a review and also by letting people know about it. People love a recommendation, don't they? Thank you very, very much. That's all for now. Until next time, thanks so much for joining me for a cuppa.